All right, everybody. It is a little bit after lunchtime, and it's lunchtime talk with Steve. We had a couple of issues, technical issues that we had to take care of, but we are good to go now. So let's go ahead and run the intro, and then we're gonna come back and chat with Sage Cimeta. Sage is a farmer here in Broward County, so we're gonna chat with him a little bit about getting started and why and how and all these different good things. All right, we'll be right back with you.
Hey guys, I'm on my way to the office. I can't believe there's so much traffic out there. Just remember, if you get involved in a car accident during this quarantine, give me a call. Our attorneys are going to fight for you. They're going to assess the case, find solutions to your problems. Now you know. Call me. My phone number is right up there or down there. Now you know.
All right, so we are back. Okay, thanks for sticking around with us. We had a couple of issues, but we're back and we are good to go. So let's go ahead and bring in Sage. Hey, Sage, how's it
Hey, man.
going?
How's everything been?
Pretty good, pretty good. So go ahead and introduce yourself, and tell us a little bit about the farm that you have. What kind of livestock do you have on your farm?
Yeah, so I live out in Southwest Ranches. I've been born and raised here. Um, and I had the opportunity with my wife to start a farm. And we have sheep, goats, and we just started raising chickens in our yard too. So it's been amazing out here. And Southwest Ranches is an amazing place to raise a farm and have a great home.
All right, awesome, awesome. So you said you have sheep, you have goat, you have, I think you have peacock too, right?
Yeah,
I
they're
mean,
they kind of run around here. We get a lot of wild animals out here, and peacocks were always here since I moved, and they
mhm.
kind of run around and graze. So
So what made you guys start a farm though? That's like the biggest thing. What made you one day wake up in the middle of, Broward County and go, I think I'm gonna start a farm.
it was just the opportunity that we had. You know, again, living in Southwest Ranches, there's, we're allowed to have agricultural out here, and for the sustainability purposes, and various other factors, we just enjoyed, having the property to be able to raise animals, and to be able to live that lifestyle. It is a lifestyle, and unfortunately it's a lot of work, but for the sustainability aspect, a lot of us right now are going through these pandemics, and it's unfortunate. A lot of the farming, we always go to the supermarket and we expect food to be there. And it's unfortunate, like now we got lucky with the COVID-19, but in the future, have you ever thought about what would actually happen if the food ran out, right? So,
That's true.
you know,
Because let's say, for example, what if this COVID-19 had hit animals instead of humans? We wouldn't have any animals. We wouldn't have any meat or anything of that sort. I guess we'll all have to turn into vegans. I don't know. But so do you sell your livestock? Do you do you kill it, or do you just sell it live, or how do you do it?
yeah, that's fine. So I do sell my livestock, and people do purchase them. A lot of people are into organic food now, and are into eating healthy, right? But what people don't realize, and what sort of is a myth out there, is a lot of the organic food you buy out there is 3 times the price, and you don't really know how they're growing it. In fact, they are using some chemicals on over 20 chemicals on the food that you're purchasing from the supermarkets, right? And participating in growing food, not only just meat, but growing vegetables, organic. What's going into that food. So there is a lot of health benefits to it as well.
And from what Jennifer's showing, also tax benefits.
Yes, you do get a tax break by starting an LLC. And in certain, I don't know all the sections in Florida that allow it. I know Upper Florida, Central Florida. Luckily here in Southwest Ranches, we're able to have an agricultural exemption for having a business and selling sheep. So I do have, you need at least 3 sheep on a property, and you can apply for the agricultural exemption, and you need to, of course, sell the sheep that you have. And it's a secondary income for us, right? I work a full-time job in IT, and you think, how does he have the time to manage that, between my wife going for a doctoral degree and me having a full-time job? But in reality, it's not a lot of work. Of course, sheep and animals in general, unfortunately, get sick, and you have to, deworm them, and there's a lot of work that goes into it. But other than that, it really isn't that much work put into it. In fact, we get up in the morning, and you get to enjoy going out and seeing the animals and feeding them, and it's just a great lifestyle.
And we can see some of them out there behind you.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I go out in the morning with my coffee, and we go out, and we, me and my wife, we go take care of the chickens, take care of the sheep. And, you may argue, I live in a smaller, somebody who lives in a smaller house, how do I participate in growing my own food or fresh organic food? Nothing stopping somebody from educating themselves on how to grow vegetables, how to grow fruits, square foot gardening, even trade skills. It's a skill that you learn over time. So when we started with about 2 sheep, and now we have 30 plus sheep. And over the time, it takes a lot of time to learn and to kind of get an idea of what you have to do. There's a lot of creativity. As you can tell behind me here, we just put in a tire on the ground, and the goats go and play on it, and they frolic around. So, we're always building little things. Like at some point, a lot of the goats, they like jumping around on things. So we built like little stairs for them. And you learn a lot of things coming out, even taking care of the animals.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, when they do get sick, you have to know how to take care of them. And recently, we had a big rain, and we have property, so it gets flooded. So we needed to spray medicine on them and stuff like that. So
So
um,
Aura was asking, do you need a permit to sell to sell wholesale or anything, or do you need any
as
permits?
as long as you have a business and an LLC and you're keeping track of those expenses, I don't believe you need a permit. I wouldn't know the regulations outside of Southwest Ranches,
Mhm.
um, but no, you do not need a permit
And
that I'm aware of.
Jennifer was saying she only has a quarter acre.
Mhm.
Would she need to have 2 or 3 acres to do that?
You don't need a lot of, it depends on the amount of animals you have. Like the sheep free roam around.
Hmm.
I only have about a half acre in the back that they're in, and I have about 10 in there. And of course,
Hmm.
we have other properties with sheep on it. So you don't need a lot of space. Everyone thinks, to participate in actually having sheep and other types of animals, uh, as long as you don't have them walking all over each other, um, you can have sheep back there, or any other farm animal.
Can you show us your farm? Can you show us around a little
Oh,
bit?
well, I can show you back here, but I might lose some Wi-Fi. But
All right, don't go too far where you're going to
yeah,
lose the Wi-Fi, but you know.
yeah, I'll show you back here.
There you go.
Yeah.
So do you separate the sheep from the goats and everything, or do you just have everything all in that cage in that area?
So specifically because we had more animals back here, at some point, like I said, you have to become innovative and kind of figure things out as they go. We were losing because they eat all day, so we were losing a grass, because they were just eating all of the grass just on a daily basis, right?
Mhm.
And what we did is we put a fence in between the property,
Mhm.
and we allow that grass to grow, and then we move the sheep to the other side, and vice versa as the grass grows. So we give the grass a break from you know from eating, because we don't put pesticides back there, none of that stuff. So
Well, you
uh,
really don't need to because the animals also produce their own fertilizer.
correct. Yeah. So that's the other creative thing about the farming situation is, you have to figure out what to do with all the fecal matter and hay that may be out there, and any other objects that you would normally throw away or whatever. But to reuse that as fertilizer for your plants, fertilizer for your square foot gardens, anything of that nature, you could reuse those things, right? Um, and it's overall great for the environment.
Mhm.
And we try to be as environmentally friendly as possible, right? So you something as small as giving water to sheep every day. It's a big tub of water, and unfortunately, that wastes a lot of fresh water. So we've been considering getting rain barrels and things of that nature in order to preserve all the fresh water that we use, because it does take resources
Yeah.
in order to maintain the animals.
What is that noise? What's that one?
Which one?
I just heard a noise. I don't know what it sounded like.
Like I said, there's a bunch of animals out here. We get everything. I
Okay.
live only a few miles from the Everglades, so we do tend to get some animals out here often.
Mhm. Do you get gators and snakes in your area or no?
I get snakes, but I haven't had an instance where I've had an alligator. Of course, we have the issue with the iguanas.
Oh,
Um,
definitely. Yeah.
yeah, um, and
Yeah, that
things of that
noise.
nature.
That in the background. Is
That's a
that a
peacock.
peak?
Yeah, that's a peacock. Yeah, yeah.
So does that wake you up in the morning? Is this like, like back in Barbados, we used to have the rooster crowing at like 5 o'clock. Do you have that happening with the peacocks, or do you have roosters, or what happens?
No, people have roosters around here. Um, it was funny because my next door neighbor just moved in. He never lived in Southwest Ranches, and he was like, like, how do you sleep because of all the noises from the frogs when it rained? I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, well, these frogs are making all this noise, and I can't sleep at night. I didn't know. You know, when you live out here, you just, you get used to the
To the
noises.
noises, yeah. Everybody else
Yeah.
is like, "What do you like?" Just now, like just a moment ago, you didn't even hear that peacock. You didn't even hear it. Like it went in one ear and out the other. Whereas to me,
Yeah.
I'm like, "What is?" I'm looking around like, I hope there's
Yeah. Yeah.
nothing back there trying to eat him or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. So I mean, do people come over? Like, can you do a petting zoo? Does anyone ever ask you about doing that for their kids when they have their birthday parties?
No, we haven't had that situation yet. I mean, we've started expanding, um, because of all the animals that we've had, and we put some animals on over across our street, and with everyone staying home and stuff like that, in the afternoons, people are walking around and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And my wife is super creative. She made a little sign with all the things that the animals like to eat, and carrots and all that stuff. So you get people on golf carts coming down, and feeding them different different things, and little kids coming up and feeding them, and they're super friendly, and people seem to really enjoy doing that in the afternoons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sage, well, Franz was saying hi to you, and then Jennifer was commenting. She said you're so used to the noises you don't hear it. And Cindy, she has your hashtag Sage,
Yeah. Yeah.
and hashtag only in the ranches.
Yeah.
So how much, like, if I wanted to come over there and get a goat, make some curry goat or something. Um, See, Jennifer just said it. Jennifer said no petting zoo. He's eating and selling them. So if I want to come and get a goat, right?
Yeah.
What's the cost? I mean, like, how much am I gonna pay for a goat so I can make some fresh curry goat?
So normally my wife does that counting, but it's around like 250 to $300.
And how big is
And
that goat?
you're gonna get a lot of personally, me, I don't kill them, but I do sell them for meat.
Mhm.
But they could weigh between 150 to 200 pounds depending on which one
So wait, wait, wait.
you
So
have.
for 200 pound goat, I'm gonna pay about 250.
Yeah.
Wow, dude, that's a
Yep.
great deal.
Yeah. And then depending on the amount and they breed twice a year, so then you can get the small ones and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, people come by, and we have our regulars that buy them. Um,
How
you
many
know, and
pieces? How many goats and sheep and how many pieces of livestock do you have now?
I'm not aware what's on the other property right now. We have around 30 plus. Yeah.
Wow.
Normally, our goats, we're not necessarily. Some people want to buy them because they're pets.
Oh, they buy
The
it as
goats
a
have.
pet.
Yeah. People use it, and purchase them in Southwest ranches to either raise them themselves, which we've had a lot more people actually doing that than buying them for eating, um, to
I'll be
start their
honest
own
with
farm.
you. If a West Indian tells you he's buying that as a pet, he's lying to you. Okay, that's dinner.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. We don't
Yeah.
have goats as pet. We don't have sheep as pet. We have them as dinner.
Yeah.
And there's no part of that that's going to go to waste.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
I do have a few regulars that are from the islands, and they come out and they buy them for certain holidays and stuff like that. Um, and it just we enjoy
Aura,
them here. We give them a good life.
Aura was asking, do you sell the goat milk too or no?
So that is possible to do. I was considering, what's so great about having farm animals is, you know, you give to them and they give back. Like, for instance, chickens, you feed them every day and they produce eggs for you. It is a possibility to start farming goat milk, and some people do that here in South, and they make cheese and different things of that nature. It is a consideration of ours to possibly start doing that. It's like I said, it's a second income. You're just you're taking a hobby and you're turning it into something that you enjoy to do. I know people out there. There's a guy out there every day in Southwest Ranches that he started beekeeping, and it's a secondary income from him. He's out there every day with his honey, and he's selling it. And fortunately, having the property to do so allows you to do it. But participating in those things helps the environment, and it's just you're turning a hobby into something that's productive and fun to do.
Cindy is saying goat cheese, curry goat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jennifer is saying curry and soap. I don't know. I don't know if that was a mistype or if she knows a way to make soap. I don't know. You never know.
I'm sure there's something out there you can make. I know, there's a lot of people that can make hand lotions and different, a farm animal isn't just one thing. They could produce a lot of different things for you. I've heard of soap and different lotions and stuff that people make from that.
So Tony is asking, if you don't kill them, who does?
So normally it's just a transaction, and we help put them in the person's truck or car. And I don't personally clean the animals. They usually would take it somewhere else in order to do it.
Can I do it on your property if I buy one?
I wouldn't have the equipment to do that.
Hey, all you need is a knife. I mean, seriously, that's all you really need is the knife. I mean, that's it.
I mean, in reality, I think people have sort of started to lose touch of where they actually get their food from. And in reality, by participating in doing things like that, as horrible as it sounds, if you're treating an animal good and it's the reason I don't kill them is I don't really have any reason to. I don't have a deep freezer. I don't, it's a lot of meat that you get from a goat or a sheep and you raise them. But if it comes to a survivability aspect of it, if something really needed to be done, we would have to visit that. But like I said, we go to the supermarket and we expect things to be there. And in reality, that may not always be the case if you think about it. So.
Oh, I see what Tika was saying. Goat milk soap, so you can make soap from the goat milk too.
Yeah.
Vicky was saying hi. She was saying, "Hey, Sage."
I said hi.
Jennifer was saying you should have a butcher. You should have like a butcher station. I guess where like if I come and buy one,
Oh, like when you go catch fish and they clean them for you.
Or even you could clean it yourself, but there you go. I mean, you have a station right there. I come in, I can do it, cut it, kill it, skin it, do all that kind of stuff. And like I said, nothing goes to waste. I mean, you have tripe, you have everything.
There's definitely an art to it, and there's some people in Southwest Ranches that specifically you could take an animal to, and they'll clean them for you.
All right, and so what else do you guys? And I mean, you have the peacock. Do people come and ask you for a peacock? Do they buy them to eat, or do they just buy the feathers? What's the benefit of a peacock?
So I don't specifically eat them, but they are considered farm animals, and at some point somebody had them around where we live, and you're supposed to be training them to stay within a certain area. Unfortunately, these started to breed out, and now they're all down my street. We have tons of them. We've had instances where people do try to catch them, or they can be destructive, unfortunately. So, I particularly don't like them, but they just live here and do their thing. So that's just been the case,
Cindy was saying the other goats won't like it. I'm not sure what. If we were killing them on the property. See, that's the thing about Facebook. Sometimes it's like a lag, but yeah, we were killing them on the property. I'm pretty sure the other goats are going to be like, huh? That's gonna happen to me.
There is a stress response to it too, unfortunately.
Julia is liking the conversation. She says it's very insightful. So now, Julia, you know where to go when you're ready to get that goat and make that goat head soup. And you have sheep. How many sheep do you have?
In combination, we have quite a bit. All around, I can't count them all, but it's around 30 plus. And like I said, I just also started my chicken farm,
Mhm.
which has been awesome. They don't require much maintenance, and somebody that's trying to possibly do something smaller and like something smaller doesn't require much materials to start raising chickens.
Mhm.
It's not that expensive, and over within the next 4 or 5 months, and it does take some investment that we're gonna start having eggs on a daily basis. Um,
Now, what about Oral is asking, are you looking to expand at some point?
um, as I've said before, you don't need that much property to start raising goats and sheep. But once it gets to you start raising just so many sheep that you do need to end up expanding. At this
Mhm.
point, we don't believe we would have to do that. It is unfortunate, but they breed twice a year. And in some cases, it's almost like you can't count your chickens before they hatch. Unfortunately, some issues happen, and it's just something you have to deal with when it comes to it. And it's just part of the lifestyle. Um,
All right, and Xavier was asking, what have been the weirdest challenges, that you've had in raising animals like gold and sheep and things like that?
weirdest challenges. Um, weirdest challenges. It really hasn't been that much of a challenge for for doing this. We've had instances where they get out.
Mhm.
We've had one instance where one got out and started running down the street. Um,
So wait, let me picture this now. You're chasing a goat down the street.
yeah, yeah. So we had one instance where again, everyone in Southwest Ranches is super friendly and they understand people have animals and they're all animal lovers. And I was running down the street to chase this sheep, and it's running in front of cars. They're like deer, so they see a car and they run towards it.
Oh
Um,
gosh.
yeah, so we're chasing this thing down the street, and we ended up in like 3 or 4 people's properties. And it was actually my wife who ended up catching the sheep. It jumped into her arms. I'm jumping on the side of a person's car that's helping me, chase down the sheep. So it's an interesting challenge because their flight, instead of fighting, they run. So once you get to a certain, sometimes it can be very difficult to catch them.
So and Cindy was saying peacocks, they're about 25 years. What? Oh, peacocks were there about 25 years ago. Yeah, it's a little bit small on the font on this side. They're all over the ranches, but also snakes, lizards, gators, iguanas, raccoons, birds, cows. You have cows? You don't have cows, do you?
I don't own cows, but there are cows around here, and we actually at some point considered purchasing some.
Okay,
There's
great.
animals. There's people that, like I said, they're animal lovers. I know people with exotic animals. I know people with llamas, and um,
Really?
it could be a crazy place to live because a lot of people have animals on there.
And I never pictured that because I'm like, I mean, when I go to the park, like if I go to Vista View Park or whatever, this to me is the whole city. It's not like I'm going up to South Bay or Pahokee or one of those places
Yeah.
that's country. So when I see these houses, I never really thought of them having these different animals. Tony was asking, how does hurricane season affect you?
Um, it doesn't affect me. When the first hurricane hit, I forgot exactly what hurricane. We did have a lot of concerns about what are we going to do with the animals. Like I said, sheep and goat are flight animals, so they'll run away from danger. In
Hmm.
this case, if you try to trap them and you try to put them away in a confined area, they're going to either try to break out or they may hurt themselves. Just like a horse would. If you try to trap a horse, they may hurt themselves. Um, the As bad as it sounds, it's almost safer to leave them and they huddle up and they're out there. They huddle up or they go under their own cover. To try to capture them and do all that stuff could be difficult. So we let them be, and we haven't had a goat or sheep lost to a hurricane, luckily.
So, all right. So now we're coming up on hurricane season now.
Yeah.
What preparations do you do, or do you just? I mean, you don't prepare at all for hurricane season with them? Is this going to be
It,
like in that movie Twister, where we're just going to see a cow going by? There's a cow, another cow.
they're like I said, they're not stupid animals. They'll huddle up. They'll get into a big pack and they'll huddle down in an area. It's not much prep besides making sure that you have enough food to provide them.
Mhm.
But normally it's not really a concern. It's a big enough property where we just make sure that there's no trees that may fall on them or any damage of that nature. But
Francis saying Sage Exotic. Sage Exotic
yeah,
Netflix coming soon.
I look like the Tiger King.
All you need now is a Carol Baskin in the background or something.
Yeah,
Someone that you can have as your rival.
yeah.
Or
My wife has tried to put me in the backyard a few times.
hey, Ora was asking about insurance. Do you have to have insurance on the animals, or if or something in case something happens to them?
I'm sure there's insurance out there for them, but no, we haven't had an instance where we've had to insure the animals. Um, some people I'm sure do because they have exotic animals, but um, I know people with camels and stuff like that out here. There's one person I know that's raised camels.
Camel.
Yeah. hmm I think you need an exotic license, but to get sheep and goats, it's fairly easy to get. Um, I'm not sure what it would take to get a camel, but
So have you ever had an instance where somebody tried to come in your backyard at night and take a like steal a goat or something, or no?
um, we've had those concerns. But I normally have good security with cameras and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And believe it or not, the Rams seem to be a deterrent. Most people don't like messing with the Rams are the ones with the big horns.
Hmm.
They're pretty intimidating looking, but they're friendly. So, but still, if you see a 200-pound ram there, you're probably not going to go into there and mess with them.
Hey, give me just a second. I need to just run a quick commercial, okay?
Sure.
Hey guys, I'm on my way to the office. I can't believe there's so much traffic out there. Just remember, if you get involved in a car accident during this quarantine, give me a call. Our attorneys are going to fight for you. They're going to assess the case, find solutions to your problems. Now you know. Call me. My phone number is right up there or down there. Now you know.
All right, and we are back, and we're talking to Sage Cimeta, and he's telling us about ranching. So, dude, I mean, seriously, how big do you want this ranch to get? I mean, because you said they breed pretty often, right? The sheep, the goat, all these different things. I mean, at what point are you going to say, okay, maybe we need to buy more, more land, or what? I mean, when you get to 100, what are we looking at?
So we do try not to keep them above a certain amount, and I think we have plenty of space in order to move them around as needed. Um, like I said, we have another property that we do put them on. So normally that's not a concern. Um,
Vicky said, Vicky said she thinks that I'm coming there one night to get one. I'm just gonna come
the,
there during the daytime and grab one.
the people in the ranches protect their animals, man.
Cindy said the person that has the camel also has zebra. What?
Yeah, she has an exotic animal license, and she does actually do petting zoos, and she does horse rides. Um, so
Wow,
she does parties and stuff like that for children, like birthday parties and stuff.
that's crazy. That's like, I mean, my mind is blown right now to think that just right here, not far away, you have camel and
Yeah.
llama and zebra and all these exotic things. I mean, does anyone in your neighborhood have a rhino or elephant? I
No.
would, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, after hearing what I'm hearing, it's like, I
you
mean,
know that there's one lady that's been living out here for quite a while, and she's always had some crazy animals like monkeys and stuff, which was always pretty exciting to go over there as a kid and look at. But like I said, people out here are animal lovers, and in comparison to what some people have out here, we don't have that many animals. So
So would you do a tour for children? I know you don't do the pet and zoo thing, but like let's say someone just wanted to come and see what the ranch looks like. Would you do that, or you know?
yeah, I mean, anyone's welcome to come look at them at any time. I don't really give tours. The sheep and goats are in the back of my house, so they're in my backyard, so it's kind of a view for us. But if anyone's ever wanting to come see them, they're welcome to come by.
All right. And Cindy was saying that the lady with the exotic animals, she works with children with handicaps and horses, and with the state of Florida. So that's good. I mean, and it's good to see that people are doing a lot of good with these exotic animals, not just sitting there and have those tigers like what you call them, like Mike Tyson and them, and just have them in the back in a cage. You're actually doing something good with it. You don't have tigers, do you?
No.
Okay, all right, good. So I'm gonna come by and check it out one of these
Yeah.
days, and maybe kill a goat on the property, and we'll have Franz and Ricky and all these guys from work come by, and
Yeah,
we
go
can
for
do
it.
that. So what else are you guys getting? Because I know when you first started, you started out with just the goats, right?
Yeah, sheep,
The sheep,
and
and then
started
you
raising
extended.
goats.
Mhm,
And then we just recently got into the chicken farming,
mhm.
and I'm now focusing on getting some fruits and vegetables and stuff growing here. So we have some trees, mango trees and avocado trees, and just getting into growing fruits and vegetables and herbs and stuff like that. So that's something I've been working on.
But Franz says, "I bet you won't say that to Mike's face." I'm not sure who's Mike.
Um,
But so what? And you said you were mentioned earlier about the cows that you might be thinking of going in that direction.
yeah, so some people I know have miniature cows. We wouldn't get full size cows. There's a lot of different breeds of cows that people have around here, so it was a consideration at some point.
Mm.
Um, we just we try, we have neighbors around us, so we do try to be careful with smell and stuff like that. Normally, the sheep and goats aren't that smelly, but once you start introducing some other animals that like cows produce a lot of
Mhm.
methane. Methane could start to smell. Some people have pigs around here, miniature pigs and stuff like that, um, and that could produce some bad smells.
So okay, but the Mike he was talking about was Mike Tyson, but
Oh, yeah,
but miniature cows and miniature pigs. I mean, I thought I was the only one that never heard of these things, but apparently not, because I'm seeing now Roletto in the Bahamas. He was saying the same thing. He's like miniature cows.
yeah. So,
I've
so
heard of
there's
that.
there's there's breeds out there of cow that aren't like the milk cows you see. What you would picture a milk cow. They have breeds of cow out there that are miniature, or they only get to a certain size.
So the ones that I'm looking at all the time, and I'm thinking they're calves. They may not be calves. They may just be a miniature cow.
It could very well be. Uh, these cows that I'm referring to are I don't know what part of the world they're from, but they don't look like a normal cow. What you would think a normal cow would look like. So you guys will have to Google around on that one if you're
So,
interested.
but are they edible though? That's my thing.
I think they're primarily used for meat.
There we go. That's good enough for me. That's good enough for
Sounds
me.
like you're
I mean,
hungry during lunch, man.
I'm telling you, listen. I mean, fresh meat, you can't beat it. You
Yep.
know, I mean, I come over there with a sledgehammer, pow, one right in the forehead, done. And not to gross anyone out, but back home, back in Barbados, we used to kill just about everything: sheep, goat, chicken. I think I've killed just about every animal that you could think of.
Yep. And I think a lot of people in America, unfortunately, have become susceptible to being like uncomfortable with doing that sort of thing. But if
Mm.
it, if it comes a aspect of sustainability and stuff like that, being able to either grow or raise animals, livestock, um, you're helping the environment, and you're doing something that you may enjoy doing.
Cindy's like, no. Don't worry, Cindy. You don't have to see it. You can. You don't have to see when I kill the cow. But yeah, I mean, people. It's so crazy that people would go to Publix or Winn Dixie or wherever and buy the meat that was killed a month ago or whatever. Because I mean, people seem to think that it was only killed yesterday when they buy it in the supermarket, but it's been killed so long ago, and the preservatives keep it. But they would go and buy that, but then they don't want to go to a farm and buy something that boom. It's like you can
Yeah.
kill it this morning and have it in a pot this evening.
And it's unfortunate too, because the factory farming, everyone's seen the Netflix documentaries and all of the things that go on there. But you're also it's people's livelihoods, but you're also thinking, these chickens or these animals are on top of each other. It also affects the health of the person, the people that are producing the sheep and the chickens and all the meat that you eat on a daily basis. Um, we've had recently a lot of outbreaks of salmonella and different bacterial issues, due to these factory farmings. And I think the more that people, there's organizations out there that are planting trees. They have a goal to plant X number of trees within the year. But you yourself can participate in doing that by growing vegetables, growing fruits. If you've ever taken a potato and you cut it in half and you put it in water, it starts to grow another potato. So there's not much of a science to it, to being able to produce either fruit trees or stuff like that, or even have a square foot garden to produce vegetables and fruits. It's not only healthy, but if you have kids, you could educate them on how the plants help the environment, reducing carbon emissions and greenhouse gases. And it's just overall a healthier environment if more people, a lot of people are relying on having to go to the store, and being able to, especially in these times when people are at home and finding things to do, you can pick up a hobby like that easy. We have the internet at our disposal, and there's so many things out there on how to get started.
Well, how do you deal with like the births of the sheep and the goats and even the death? That was one of the questions posted. How do you
Okay,
deal with those things?
so the birth normally doesn't require intervention. Normally, it's just you let them do their thing, and there's normally never any issue. You do have to sometimes segregate the mother and baby, because they do imprint. So you could have scenarios where you're trying to help the baby find the mother and have milk, but they may. I've had cases where lambs have imprinted on me and they start following me around, and it's cute, but it could produce issues, because they're smart. If they think the baby is not healthy, then they can reject it. So in some cases, it requires intervention to give them milk. We produce a bottle of milk, and you're out there quite often giving them milk. As far as the deaths, it's unfortunate. It does happen, and normally I'm the cleanup crew for that, when that happens.
Wow, so that's pretty interesting. I mean, wow. So a farm of your size, what does that? Well, first off, you don't eat the meat because you don't kill the animals, so it doesn't really save you much in meat. But what does a farm of that size generate in revenue? What is it beneficial to actually have it?
So it's beneficial because it's sort of a hobby of ours too, and we benefit from the animals. You know, we have names for some of them. Um, yeah, as funny as
You
that
name
sounds.
animals?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man.
And sometimes it's a lifestyle we enjoy, and we make some miscellaneous income from it. It doesn't take a lot of maintenance.
Mhm.
from what I consider maintenance, because we are out there often doing different things, cleaning. It takes a lot of cleaning and care of the animals. But it's more of just something that we had the opportunity to do, and we enjoy doing it, and we make some income from it. I know people who bought my sheep, and they've started their own farm, and they do eat them, and they've become self-sustainable off of that. So
I need to buy a farm. That's what I need to do.
yeah.
I need a farm. I tell you, I'd have everything on there. I'd tell you, people at Publix won't see me again because I'll get everything from there. The milk, everything, So how often do you have like goat milk or anything like that? Is there a particular time, or do you have it all the time? Do you always have a milk producing goat?
So that's not no, not really. They normally will start producing milk once they have their baby. The reason why I haven't started milking them or doing any of that, I have to do some more research on it. There is a whole process behind it. You have to make sure that when you do milk them, that you keep your hands very clean, and because they can get infected,
Right.
and there's a process around it. So I have to do some more research on it, and I want to make sure that I'm not taking away any of the resources of the baby when we're doing that.
And Cindy was saying it's tough to eat a goat that you named Sparky.
Yeah.
Actually, it's not tough to eat that goat. I'm telling you, it's not tough at all. Put him in a pressure cooker, you'll see. Sparky tastes really good. So, how's it been since you've been working from home? Do you find that that this is something that you think you'll do full time? Do you find yourself out there with the animals more that you don't have to go out to work, or
Yeah, I do find myself out there more often. Like I said, normally in the mornings you feed them, and they kind of take care of themselves the rest of the day, either eating grass or anything of that nature. Again, we just got brand new chickens, and we've been taking care of those. And with all of this, I recently got into the woodworking hobby, so I've been building little things here and there, and things for the chickens, and all this random stuff. It's been keeping me busy.
So, all right. So, like the chickens that you just got, how many did you get?
Right now, we only have 4 that when they're ready to produce eggs, they'll probably produce 1 to 2 a day.
All right. Camilla was asking, "What's the topic?" We're just having a conversation with Sage. Sage is an urban farmer. He's out in Southwest Ranches, and we're just having a conversation with him about pretty much about his farm. Let's see. So go ahead and show me again. Show us a little bit more about of your farm, because I see that structure in the back. Did you build that structure or no?
Yeah, that structure was built. They normally have that cover for either laying in when it's too hot out, or they lay under when it's raining.
And I see there's a chair. What do you do? Sit in the middle of the animals?
We have a structure there, and we just kind of sit out there sometimes and just enjoy the view and hang out with them.
But the animals are right there with you.
No, they normally don't go into this area. They normally stay in a gated area. I do sometimes fertilize the lawn and stuff like that. So we try to not have them eat that grass.
All right. Yep, there you go. So you have another request. Show us some of the animals. Don't go too far that you're going to lose Wi-Fi now.
They're hanging out. It's hot today, so they're hanging out in the, they're kind of hanging out back there right now. It's a little hot. I don't know if you can see them.
Yeah, I see them over under the tree. Under the tree. Yeah.
Yeah, they just kind of hang out there and do their thing for the day. Towards the afternoon, that's when they get more active, when it's a little cooler out. And that's basically what it is there. Normally we give them some treats and stuff like that. So,
what kind of treats do you give an animal? Do you give a goat or
bread, corn. Sometimes there's like little licorice treats that they like, stuff like that.
Interesting. So, if someone wanted to come and visit your farm, is that something that you welcome, or do you want to give them a number or address if they want to come see the farm, or
Yeah.
why don't you set up like a webcam? You could just have people watching your farm all the time.
I was thinking about doing that, like those live channels.
Yeah, that would be a pretty cool idea. I'm pretty sure you would get thousands of people watching.
Yeah.
Especially when they're feeding and they're just. I mean, you should do that. We'll talk about that, setting up a webcam. But if a person wants to come by and check out the farm, or even to buy an animal or something, how do they do that?
Yeah, you can always call me. My phone number is 954-804-1939. You guys can feel free to call me and we can set something up.
You said it's 954-804.
1939.
All right, there we go. I'm gonna just have that scrolling on the bottom there for a second.
And we have several properties that we have sheep on. So on one of the property, that's normally the ones that we do sell. Some in the back here, these are some of the ones that are sort of special to us, where either we've raised them by hand or something of that nature. So we kind of keep the ones that we really like back here.
So the ones that aren't back there, you don't really like those.
The ones that they've mass produced. So yeah, you guys could always feel free to visit.
Oh, well, you could also go to Stephanie's Sheep
Yep.
at stephaniesheep.com.
Yeah, Stephanie is my wife's name. So we set up a little website that's the business name, stephaniesheep.com.
Mm-hmm. So
And there's contact information and everything on there if you'd like.
let's see. I'm going to put that up there too, so people would be able to go to it. There you go, stephaniesheep.com. So definitely, you guys should check that out. I'm telling you. And I want to go. That's all I want. I'm just saying, I mean,
Feel free to come by whenever.
But you don't. So how do you justify going into Publix or Broward Meat or wherever it is you buy your meat from? How do you justify going in there and buying chicken or buying meat that you have at home?
I'm eventually going. I've been thinking about subsidizing that soon. You need a lot of animals to actually subsidize like your meals, meaning like having a constant amount of meat and preserving it for that matter. Maybe you have a 200-pound sheep and you don't realize how much meat you actually get from it, and you need a deep freezer to keep it fresh and all that stuff, which is stuff I don't have today.
Well, when you kill one, you just call up people and say, "Hey, Steve, hey, I just killed a goat. Come on over, and I'll come over with a cooler and grab some." And and of course, a bunch of the guys over at Embraer, they'll come grab some.
I mean, some people, they make sausages and they make stuff out of it and they sell it. I would prefer that somebody actually buy the sheep and clean it themselves. There's a whole nother responsibility that you have when you're selling, butchered meat. There's a liability to that. So that's always been a concern of mine. That if I make sausages or I make meat and I hand it out and somebody does get sick from it, there is a liability behind that. So we just kind of keep it simple and let them clean it themselves or take it to a place to do so.
All right. So, what is your 1-minute takeaway that you would, that you want to leave our viewers with? Because it's coming up to the hour. So, what is that 1-minute takeaway, that you would like to leave our viewers with?
Yeah. So, definitely start a farm, get more into sustainability. grow fruits, vegetables. If you don't have the property, you can start a square foot garden, raised garden bed. You know, if people are more sustainable out there, the less we would have to rely on and big farms and stuff like that may not always produce the most healthy foods. You know, it's never going to replace your meals for everything. Like I said, I still go to the Publix and I buy food and stuff like that, but it's a very rewarding process when you can go out there and you can either collect chicken eggs or you can collect a potato from outside and you actually have your own food and it's sustainable. And educating your kids on the environment and just making the best out of it. It's a fun hobby, and I think everyone should be participate in that.
All right, pretty cool. Camellia is saying she need fresh meat, so she said, let's get you certified so they can come out there and support you.
Support, yeah.
I'll tell you, dude, you can sell a lot of meat. I mean, I'm just saying, get that farm up and running, get what you need, and let's do this. You know. All right, but thank you very much for being on the show. I really appreciate it. As always, you know, I like to bring information to my viewers, and you brought a lot of good information to them.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
So, I mean, the number and website are right there. If anyone wants to come and visit, then they can they can come and visit. They can come and buy sheep, goat, peacock, well, soon chicken. You know, different things if they want it. All right. So. Sage, thanks very much. You're always welcome to come back on the show anytime you want, okay?
Absolutely.
All right, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
So, guys, there you have it. You know, you have the website right here at the bottom. Oh, right there it is. All right, so if you guys want a sheep or anything like that, go to stephaniesheep.com and check it out, see what they have. You know, and if you want to just go by and visit, check it out, give them a call. You know, there's nothing like fresh meat. I'm going to tell you, there's a big difference between when you buy something in the store and when you have it fresh. And of course, like he said, it doesn't have the chemicals and the steroids and all kind of the other things that are injected by the big farmhouses and those places. So check out Sage and Stephanie's website at stephaniesheep.com and make it happen. If you guys buy too much meat and you don't have enough room for it, that's all right. Give me a call, send me an email, whatever, and I'll come pick some up from you. All right. All right. So guys, once again, thanks for checking us out. Thanks for watching Lunchtime Talk with Steve. I really appreciate you guys. As always, you know, you are your brother's keeper. So we have to make sure that we're doing for each other. All right. If there's someone that you know that doesn't have a vehicle to go to the food bank and get some food, help them out, give them a ride or pick up some food and bring for them. If you know someone that you know you haven't heard from in a while, give them a call, check in on them, make sure that everything is good, because you never know, they may need help and you just don't know it. All right. If any of you guys need any kind of help, check out my website. Go to lunchtimetalkwithsteve.com and there's a help section. You have 211, which has everything from suicide prevention to helping you with your rent, your light bill. This is a tough time, and this is not the time for pride, okay? Throw pride out the window and just get the help that you and your family need. Bottom line, that's it. So check out lunchtimetalkwithsteve.com, click on the help section, and you'll see all the different things, Feed America. And all you do is put in your zip code, and no matter where you are in the country, it will tell you where you can get help. All right, people. Again, as always, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. All right? Peace, people.